Welcome to SENDiass4BCP's webinar on independent review panels. Today we will be looking at requesting an independent review panel or IRP, the role of the IRP, the role of a special educational needs and disabilities expert or SEND expert, preparing written representations, attending the hearing, possible outcomes following the hearing, and where to access some additional support should you need it. If the decision at the governing panel's meeting was to uphold the decision of the head teacher to suspend or exclude, you may wish to consider an independent review panel hearing, otherwise referred to as an IRP. This is similar to a governing panel hearing, only the IRP's role is to review the decision of the governing panel, not to review the decision of the head teacher. So, even if the IRP feel the right decision was made, it may be that they feel the governing panel need to reconsider their decision if they have not completed a satisfactory review. The governing panel decision letter will inform you of how to request an IRP, including what information to include and your right to request a SEND expert attends. Consider requesting the meeting minutes from the clerk of the governing board panel hearing, requesting any amendments you feel necessary. A request for an IRP must be made within 15 school days of the decision to uphold being communicated. The IRP must be held within 15 school days of the request being received. It is good practice for the IRP to be held somewhere other than the excluding school, so it is neutral ground. However, this is not a requirement. The independent review panel will need to consider three things. Illegality. Did the governing board act outside the scope of its legal powers in deciding that the pupil should not be reinstated? Irrationality. Did the governing board rely on irrelevant points, fail to take account of all relevant points, or make a decision so unreasonable that no governing board acted reasonably in such circumstances could have made it? Procedural impropriety. Was the governing board's consideration so procedurally unfair or flawed that justice was clearly not done? Procedural impropriety means not simply a breach of minor points of procedure, but something more substantive that has a significant effect on the quality of the decision-making process. They will then be required to make one of three decisions, which will be sent to you within 5 working days of the hearing, along with their reasons for the decision. That is, to uphold, recommend reconsideration, or to quash the decision. These will be explained in more detail a little later on. You will have the right to request an SEN expert attend the IRP. A special educational needs expert should be a professional with first-hand experience of the assessment and support of SEN, as well as an understanding of the legal requirements on schools in relation to SEND. You can request a SEND expert to be present at an independent review panel, regardless of whether or not your child has identified SEND, and this is free to request. You may wish to consider that you won't know the expert's view prior to attending the hearing. The expert is not guaranteed to have a good understanding of the particular needs of your child, and there are more reliable alternative options that may be available, such as if you already have professionals that know the child already involved. As with requesting the governing body hearing, you may wish to consider preparing some written representations for the independent review panel. You will find some links on the suspensions and exclusions page of our website to template letters to support you further with this. It is advised to submit this in good time before the hearing to enable panel members to fully prepare. A pack of information should be received by yourself from the clerk no less than 5 school days before the hearing, so try to ensure you have this submitted by then. If this is not possible, then try to advise the clerk of when they will be ready for you to share with them. When preparing your written representations, you may wish to consider: was the governing board's decision disproportionate? Did they fail to include any relevant information within the decision making? Was the hearing held unfairly? Did the governing board appear hostile or provide you with insufficient time to speak? Were private conversations held between the school and the governing board around the time of the meeting? Were all procedures followed to ensure a fair hearing? And do you feel the decision was lawful? The local authority will be responsible for arranging the panel and the hearing if the school is maintained by the local authority. The excluding school will be responsible for arranging the panel and the hearing if the school is an academy. At an independent review panel hearing, in attendance you should expect an independent clerk to record the meeting minutes and ensure procedures are correctly followed. The chairperson of the governing body panel who made the decision to uphold, as well as the head teacher who made the decision to exclude. The local authority should be invited, as well as the child social worker if they have one, and/or a representative from the virtual school if the child is a looked after child or previously looked after child. You will also still be entitled to bring support or representation with you, be it a friend, family member, or support from SENDiass. In addition to this, should you request it, there will also be the independent SEND expert. As previously mentioned, you will not meet with them beforehand, but they will provide a professional view based on the information that has been provided by both yourself and the school. They are not there to partake in the decision-making process, but are there to provide expert advice and support the panel with their knowledge and understanding. There will also be 3 independent review panel members. That is, a chairperson who has no experience as a paid member of staff at a school, a current head teacher or a head teacher within the past 5 years, and a governor or a governor who has served within the last 5 years. Although not statutory, there is a general format of a hearing to expect. Firstly, there will be introductions from the panel members and the attendees. The school will make a statement, and the panel and family will both have opportunities to ask questions of the school. The family will then have an opportunity to provide a statement. And again, the panel and the school will have the opportunity to ask questions of the family. Both the school and the family will then have the opportunity to make a closing statement should they wish. In addition to your written representations you may have submitted, you may also wish to prepare a statement. Some families like to leave it for the day itself, but it's sometimes helpful to prepare something in case you become nervous, as someone else can support you by reading it out on your behalf if needed. The same goes for questions. You may find the panel already asked a lot of the questions you had, or more may come as the school make their statement. There is, however, no requirement to ask any questions if you have nothing to add. The review panel's questions to you will generally be so they can gain a better understanding of the situation. There are 3 possible outcomes to an independent review panel hearing. That is, to uphold the governing body's decision. This will end the challenge process unless you are also bringing a discrimination claim in the first tier tribunal. To recommend the governing body reconsider their decision. This does not mean the decision will necessarily be overturned, but the governing body may decide it would be appropriate to do so in light of the IRP's findings. The governing board must meet within 10 school days of the decision. The independent review panel can also quash the decision and send it back to the governing body to reconsider. The governing body can then decide to reinstate the pupil, or if they continue to uphold the decision, the school should update the student's record to keep a note of the IRP's objections to the exclusion. In addition, the IRP should be expected to order that the school's budget for the year be amended by £4,000. If you require any further support with an independent review panel, you can visit our website at SENDiass4BCP.org, where you will find lots of free resources to help you. You can email us at help@sendiass4bcp.org, or you can contact our advice line, open Monday to Thursday, 9:30 till 12:30.